What is up, my Pika crew? This is the ThePikaWu, and welcome to a 5th generation Wi-Fi battle. This one's going to be an OU tier match against a guy called Squiddy from the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder, and this was a pretty interesting match, so I hope you guys enjoy. Now, looking at my team, it's the same team I used in the last OU battle. The only Pokemon I changed was my Celebi. I switched it for Exeggutor because I wanted to spice things up. I wanted to use an NU Pokemon in an OU battle. Looking at his team, he's got a pretty standard rain team. The only Pokemon that's not really standard for rain teams is going to be that Garchomp, but it's not that threatening because my Exeggutor deals with the Garchomp pretty nicely. He does have a Keldeo, which I didn't think was that threatening, but it turned out to be an absolute monster in this battle because Hydro Pump in the rain does a ton of damage against my team, even against Pokemon that resist it, like my Exeggutor. But I hope you guys enjoy the battle, and yeah. So my opponent's going to lead off with the Politoed to try to get up the rain first turn, as I'm going to lead off with the Rotom Wash. And the reason why I lead off with the Rotom Wash is because I can deal super effective damage against the majority of my opponent's team. Even though he has a really great Rotom counter, and that is Celebi, because Celebi resists both my water and electric type moves, I have the Signal Beam and it's 4 times super effective. Here I was actually anticipating him to bring in the Celebi to try to take the Thunderbolt. However, he actually goes for the Protect to scout what kind of move I go for, and because I revealed to him that I have the Signal Beam, and I revealed the fact that I predicted very aggressively, he definitely knows I'm choiced in some way, and that's why he decides to stay in, because he knows he can live a Signal Beam, and he can pull off a Parasong. So I'm going to bring in my Latias just to deal as much damage as possible with a Draco Meteor, and he's going to go for the Toxic, which shouldn't be hurting me too much because my Latias is a hit and run Pokemon. It goes for the Draco Meteor, it gets a special attack drop, and then it's going to switch out. However, this Poison's going to play a really big role later on in the match. You'll see. So here I'm at -2, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the Protect to stall and get some toxic damage, some more toxic damage on me. So I'm going to decide to bring in my Rotom there, and this puts me in a very good situation because now he has 1 turn left before Parasong takes his Politoed out. So he either has to switch or he loses his Politoed. So that's why I went for the Hydro Pump, anticipating him to bring in another Pokemon to take a Thunderbolt, like his Celebi, because even though it resists, water boosted Hydro Pump from a Choice Scarf Rotom should be dealing a ton of damage. However, he just ends up staying in just to go for the Scald to try to fish for a burn, but that doesn't happen and his Politoed dies. So now he brings in the Keldeo, and he can go for either the Hidden Power Grass if he has it, or for the Secret Sword. So I am going to go into my Exeggutor because I resist both his dual stat moves. I resist his Secret Sword, and if he wants to go for the Hydro Pump predicting to switch, I should be able to take it as well because I resist it and I am invested in a lot of HP and special defense. So I am going to double switch, actually anticipating him to bring in the Celebi there because Celebi walls my Exeggutor, so that's why I brought in my Heatran so that I can wall him and then set up the Stealth Rocks. And he's going to go ahead and bring in the Garchomp here as I set up the Stealth Rocks, and I know he's going to set up, try to go for the Sub Swords Dance, and even if he doesn't and he takes down my Heatran, that's totally fine because Heatran isn't really that useful under the rain. I already got my Stealth Rocks up, so Heatran has already done his job. So here I'm going to go for the Lava Plume, anticipating him to switch out from the Celebi, and even if he did stay in to set up the Stealth Rocks, that's totally fine because even though it is super effective and water or powered down by the rain, it still should be doing a decent amount against the Celebi. So here I'm going to continue to go for the Lava Plume because I want to fish for the burn, and really nothing on his team really appreciates the burn. So I am going to get the burn on the Jirachi, and this works out great because now I have the matchup advantage. And what I mean by this is that if he didn't get the burn, he could have potentially set up Calm Minds and Substitutes to a point where he would have been able to water down my super effective moves because of his special defense boosts, but now because of this residual damage, I don't think he will be able to set up Calm Minds to that point, so I'm just going to stay in to go for the Earth Power just to deal as much damage as possible. So here I am going to predict him to switch out into another Pokemon to take the Earth Power, hopefully into the Gyarados, and then I can get a burn on the Gyarados, so that's why I went for the Lava Plume, just to deal some damage on the Gyarados and hope for a burn, but he stays in and goes for the Wish, and this puts me in an awkward situation because he's at a point where burn doesn't quite take him out. So, and I saw that he has Wish too, so he might have the Wish Protect. So I'm just going to go for the Earth Power, really for no reason. Should have just went for the Lava Plume, because either way, if he went for the Protect, Lava Plume and Earth Power are the same in that situation, and if he switched out, I could potentially get a burn. So Earth Power was just a really dumb move on my part. Here, I know he's not going to go for the Water type move, because I have a lot of Pokemon that counter this Gyarados. However, I want to scout if he has the bounce or not, and that's why I'm going to bring in my Exeggutor. If he sets up a Dragon Dance and he goes for the bounce, that's totally fine. I'd have to fodder off my Heatran and then Revenge Kill with my Rotom Wash. But he goes for the sub Dragon Dance, and I'm hoping that he has Waterfall and Stone Edge as his 2 moves, as I'm just going to go for the Psychic to break his substitute. Here's the moment of truth. This next turn, if he has the bounce or not. If he has the bounce, I need to get out of here because I need to conserve my Exeggutor for later. And if he doesn't have the bounce, then I can wall him to daze and then attempt to set up some Leech Seeds and get some HP recovery. So he's going to go for the substitute there, maybe anticipating me to go for the Leech Seed, but I'm just going to go for the Psychic there. So he goes for the bounce, so that reveals that he has the bounce. So now it's time to pretty much fodder a Pokemon. I'm pretty much going to decide to fodder my Heatran because it's useless. Like I said, it pretty much sucks under the rain, and I already set up Stealth Rocks, so this +1 isn't really going to do much. And if he decides to be greedy and set up to +2, I have the Roar anyways. I don't think he's going to set up some more because he's totally aware that I do have the Roar, so he is definitely going to go for the Waterfall, and that is going to take down my Heatran because of the rain boost and the +1 attack. Luckily for me, he doesn't have the Moxie, or does he have the Moxie? I don't really know. But it doesn't really matter because I have a Choice Scarf Rotom. And with my Choice Scarf, I can outspeed him and I can go for the Thunderbolt to take down this Gyarados. And he can go into the Garchomp, and that would have been the most optimal play. But I think he decided to stay in to hopefully, you know, because he already had a +1 boost, he didn't want to switch out when he already had a boost already. So here now he brings in the Garchomp because I'm locked into the electric type move, and I am just going to bring in my Faceplant, my Exeggutor, because I wall him. Even he goes for the Outrage, I should be able to live the hit, and then I am going to be able to Protect Stall him and get some Citrus HP recovery, so I should be fine in this certain scenario. So I am just going to go for the Protect here, anticipating him to just, actually not really anticipating anything, I was just hoping for a 2-turn Outrage so that he would be confused, and this would be very, very good. So here I go for the Protect so that his Outrage wouldn't be able to do damage to me, and then he is going to get the Confusion. And this puts me in a really good situation because I'm pretty sure he's going to switch. However, he might go for the Substitute, anticipating me to go for the Leech Seed, anticipating his switch, so that's why I'm going to go for the Psychic anyways. Now, he does have the Celebi in play. Like I said earlier, Celebi walls this Exeggutor, so I don't want him to bring in the Celebi here, so I'm actually going to switch out along with him. He's going to bring in the Jirachi just as death fodder, which is totally fine, and I believe I'm going to switch into a Celebi counter, and that is going to be either my Rotom or my Terrakion. I'm going to bring in my Rotom actually, so this is good. Now that I have my Rotom out, he's going to bring in the Celebi, and this is really weird because there's really no reason to bring in the Celebi as I have the 4x super effective Signal Beam. So the only reason why he would bring it in is that he would try to bait me into locking myself into the Bug type move as he goes into the Keldeo, and then he can start firing off some Water type moves, and that would force me to fodder at least one Pokemon on my team. Unfortunately for me, he actually just stays in and goes for the Recover, which makes pretty much no sense because Signal Beam would take him out, so there's no reason why he would recover up against a Rotom Wash. He definitely outpredicted me there, but that's mostly because he played rather irrationally. But I'm just going to go ahead and just bring in my Landorus just as death fodder to take a potential Hidden Power Ice. He actually doesn't carry the Hidden Power Ice, he has the Baton Pass, and he's going to Baton Pass into his Keldeo to Revenge Kill with basically a Hydro Pump. And my Landorus goes down, which is fine because he has a Keldeo which outspeeds it, a Garchomp that outspeeds it, and Celebi which walls my Landorus, so it's pretty much useless anyways. So now I'm going to bring in the Latias because if he's not Choice Scarf, then he has to switch out because I can outspeed him and take him out with the Shy Shock, and because he is locked into the Water type move, I think either way, if he's Choice or not, he's going to switch out and I can get a free recover. Unfortunately for me, he just goes for the Hydro Pump, and that's fine because I can recover up still at a decent amount and be at a decent amount of HP. So here I'm going to go for the Psyshock for really no reason. I was hoping that he would stay in, but there's absolutely no reason for him to stay in, so it doesn't really make sense for me to go for the Psyshock. I was actually watching TV while I was playing this game, so I made a lot of misplays after here. So here, I'm going to go ahead and switch out Fury the HP Ice, but if I was paying attention, I would have known that he doesn't have the HP Ice, because he already revealed all the moves. He has Psychic, Baton Pass, Stealth Rock, and Recover. So really no reason for me to stay or to switch out. I should have recovered up so I'd be at a very healthy amount of HP so I can deal with this Keldeo. But now, because I'm at a low amount of HP, it won't be able to deal with the Keldeo. So now I only have one Pokemon that can deal with the Keldeo, and that is my Exeggutor. So I'm going to go into my Terrakion here, go for the X-Scissor and take down that Celebi. So he has 2 Pokemon left. He has this Keldeo and this Garchomp. I've got 4 Pokemon left, so I should be fine. Here, he's going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Pump. He's going to take down my Terrakion. That's totally fine because I do have 1 resist to Hydro Pump, and that is my Exeggutor. And I should be able to lift the hit because I am max HP with a good amount of special defense investment. And he is going to continually go for the Hydro Pump. And unfortunately for me, I am not going to live, which was really surprising. Keldeo is an absolute monster. Didn't even expect him to take me out, but he does. And I really have nothing to take a Hydro Pump. So at this point, the only way I can win is if he misses any Hydro Pumps. Unfortunately for me, he hits 4 or 5 Hydro Pumps in this game. And he is going to sweep me with the Keldeo. So yeah, a lot of misplays on my part at the end. Played really bad. But I really like this game because it shows you that even if you're down by a lot in a battle, you can come back and destroy your opponent. Especially with Keldeo, because Keldeo is a monster. But if you guys enjoyed this battle, feel free to leave a like, a favorite, and a comment. And if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to join the Pika crew by subscribing. So this is the ThePikaWu. Thank you for watching my battle, and peace out, guys.